Previously on Casually Comics. The kryptonite was a mint that he had in his pocket, and he used his X-ray vision to make it glow. Everything about that explanation brings me joy. Where was this pocket? Where was he keeping this mint? Clark, where's the pocket?
Clark, where's the pocket?
Wow, a lot of you know where Clark's secret pocket is. Greetings, comic lovers, and welcome back to Casually Comics, the channel where we chat all things comics, from recent comics new and old to history to anecdotes, really wherever our whims take us. Superman's cape had a pocket. Has a pocket. Some people still draw this pocket. There are strong opinions about this pocket. I've fallen down quite the rabbit hole. In a previous video reviewing World's Finest issue 195, aka one of the maddest World's Finest issues and a lot of fun, Superman mentions that he pretended a mint he was carrying in his pocket was kryptonite. So I made a joke. Pocket where? Essentially was the gist of it. Well, it turns out that Superman had a pocket. It has a complicated-ish history. So when Superman first showed up on the scene, all the way back in 1938, he did not have a pocket. But over time, one of those nerdy fan questions reared its head. What did Clark do with the clothes that he changed into? It's one of those what was happening off panel questions, but something that when you thought about it, yeah, what do you do with the clothes? Things like this have always fascinated fans, and they can express themselves in a variety of ways. Rather, they can manifest in a variety of ways. Who's with who? Who's friends with who? Who eats what? Where's Clark putting his clothes? Different focus, but the same mindset. A desire to know more. A desire to have a more complete knowledge of the character and enhance one's experience. With all of that said, and bearing that in mind, it's disgusting how deep of a dive I went into this. I spent 2 hours tracking down one Superboy issue. You know, like a normal person. This pocket is a part of me now. So when I made that joke, a bunch of you rose to the occasion to not only detail that you remembered Superman's pocket and where it was and what he kept in it, but some of you had specific issues where you remembered seeing the pocket. The only thing was, they were all different. But after I looked into it, I can see why. I'm Sasha, here to talk about pockets. And if you enjoy this type of content, then hit that like button and subscribe button. Join us in this comic book journey. What are we doing? I don't know. I can't even say join us in this comic book journey today. Now, as comics went on and began to become more and more invested on ongoing canon, or just on certain facts that were staples, foundational facts, as these thoughts began to assert themselves, stories also began to become more detailed and fleshed out. There began to be attempts to keep more consistencies between them. Details began to be filled in. Now, when Siegel and Schuster were writing Superman, he changed his clothes. Not really in a phone booth all that often, yet it still managed to become iconic. It certainly sticks with you. But there wasn't really any mind paid to what he did with his clothes, not seriously. Later writers would seek to fill that gap. However, the cape pocket initially arrives without fanfare. One day it's not there and the next it is. The earliest instance of cape pocket I could find was in 1954 in World's Finest issue 68, in the story The Menace of the Stars, written by someone lost to time, so Alan Smithy, and with art by Wayne Boring. This is an amnesia story. Superman needs to stop an asteroid from smashing into the Earth, but in that process he slams into it himself, and also the astronomers who were looking at it said that maybe it had some kind of kryptonite on it, some kind of weird kryptonite, so maybe it did, maybe it didn't. I'm gonna say it did. When he falls to the Earth, he has amnesia, so he starts checking out what he's wearing, resulting in, must have some identification in this costume. This pocket in the cape. Why, there's a suit in it. Odd, but why not try it on? Better than wandering around in this getup while waiting for my head to clear. I love his comment on his glasses. They don't improve my vision. They're probably just supposed to keep my eyes from tiring. I'd better keep wearing them. The rest of the story is Superman just thinking he's filling in for Superman before remembering that he actually is Superman. The thing is, it doesn't seem like everybody was aware of / on board with the cape pocket, as it would come up sporadically. Now, one of the questions that the inclusion of a cape pocket caused people to ask was as follows. Doesn't that bulk up his cape? But now there's supposed to be clothes in it, and glasses and shoes. Why is there not a lump inside of his cape? Well, wonder no longer. 1965 is here to help you out. The answer to the above is given in Superman 178, from the second story in the issue when Superman lost his memory. This is written by Leo Dorfman with art by Kurt Swan. So yes, another amnesia plot. That's the only way to rediscover if your outfit has pockets. What can give Superman amnesia? I know, weird kryptonite. This time it's a fusion of gold and red kryptonite that plummets into the ocean while Superman's down there, and so he gets confused and forgets. He thinks he's dressed in a Superman costume because he's saved by some cops in costume who are going to a costume party on a yacht. You know, usual thing. However, once that's done and he's back on shore, Superman decides to try and check out who he is by checking his outfit. There must be some kind of identification in this outfit. Wait, a pocket in the cape, and there's a compressed suit in it. I'll try it on. It's better than wearing this getup while waiting for my memory to return. You'll note that the dialogue is almost identical to the prior story. In fact, it almost feels like this story is just a remake, a redux. Even the next panel, he has that same dialogue about finding the glasses and realizing he doesn't need them, so they must must be to keep his eyes from getting tired. So I mean, it sort of answers the question, but his glasses are in there too, and aren't his shoes in there? How many glasses have you broken, Clark? There's probably another explanation, like the glasses are made out of some kind of Kryptonian material. Which Kryptonian material would actually start to become part of the lore surrounding Clark's outfit. The idea that it was made of a special Kryptonian cloth, a blanket that he was wrapped in when he came to Earth. Now, even though the pocket was established, you would still have writers who wouldn't use it. Instead, they would show him stashing his clothes in different ways. For example, just hiding them under rocks or locations nearby. There was a period at some point where he was compressing it and hiding it in his mouth. But the cape pocket was firmly canonized in Superboy, in a segment called the Superboy Legend, specifically the one at the end of Superboy 169 from 1970. Superboy was in an interesting position at the time. It was one of those titles where the cracks of having a continuing canon really showed. So there were attempts to firmly establish things about Clark in a segment called the Superboy Legend. It was supposed to answer fan questions, so kind of like an illustrated FAQ. This one is all about his costume. In a segment by E. Nelson Bridwell, even though he may have been credited as Birdwell in this case, he's only really given credit with a little B on the bottom of the page. Bridwell was a super fan who wrote letters to DC Comics, and some even ended up published in letters columns, and he would end up as the editor on the Superman family titles. So here we have the legend of the cape, this indestructible cape that you can see Pa Kent trying to take out with shotgun bullets, but nothing will break it. The logic behind this is that if it comes from Krypton, it gets extra XP and SP when it comes to Earth. To finish it, I had Mom add a cape with a pouch where I could stash my Clark Kent clothes, and the costume need never be altered. It's super elastic. It will fit when I grow up to be Superman. Okay, I see you trying to answer questions, but hear this. Answer me this. Comic from 1970. How was Ma Kent manipulating it? She just seems to be using regular knitting needles. If we're gonna go down this path of asking these types of questions, I want to know, are these made from material from the spaceship? Are they? Why did you leave this door open, DC? Now we have people quibbling about pockets. We should have left it nebulous. Where are his clothes? I don't know, but people want to know. Crisis on Infinite Earths, 1985. New DC Universe. Everything compressed into one Earth. Superman in particular was taken back to basics. Cape pocket. Not the start of the series. There they would establish that he would specifically leave his clothes in the storeroom at work when he changed there. However, some still seem to like the idea of the cape pocket because it would creep back even in this new canon. For example, Action Comics 643 in 1989. Under Dredz Perez, in this issue you see Clark reaching into his cape to check for an item he stashed there. So sometimes, yeah, he keeps things in the pocket, not just his compressed clothes. So it's like a Mary Poppins cape pocket, and it's still debate. Some people are very pro. They feel that it's practical. Pockets are great. Many have suffered the indignity of being handed an item and realizing you don't have a pocket to put it in. Personally, that's why I'm very pro dress pocket. More pockets in dresses. However, some felt it was a bridge too far. Too silly. It raised a lot of questions and forced you to think about things that really took you out of the story. How would he get stuff out? How vulnerable is it? How does he fit everything in there? What about the lines on the cape? No pockets, Superman. Get a bigger belt. But it's still in that position. For example, here's another one. Action Comics 840 from 2006. Writers Jeff Johns and Kurt Busiek kept the cape pocket alive, and this time it has snacks in it. There's a pretzel in there. This was the arc where Superman got his powers back, and one of the first things he does to relax is go to the fortress to chill and eat a pretzel from his cape pocket. And there are even more instances floating around out there. It's one of those bizarre things that isn't really that big of a deal, but at the same time kinda is. Because whether it's there or not can cause a lot of questions. Does the cape pocket still exist? Probably, in the same way it's always existed since it was introduced. And that is kinda. Creators that like it and think it's cool bring it up, and others that don't ignore it. It seems like a good enough space for it to be in, unless you want a definitive DC statement on the cape pocket. I was really surprised that it wasn't in the Grant Morrison issue, which was the New 52 Action Comics number 0, which was a story called The Boy Who Stole Superman's Cape. I was really expecting the cape pocket there, given how much Grant Morrison likes to bring up random things from the Silver Age. I'm not mad, just disappointed. I read this story expecting cape pocket. My question for you is, are you pro or anti cape pocket, and why? And if you are into it, what should he keep in there? I'm so hung up on this pretzel. It had toppings. Did the toppings mess up his cape? Wash your cape, Clark. So that was a side tangent prompted entirely by your comments. This happens to me sometimes. Not all of them end up as videos, but I've gone into some really random deep dives. So thank you. I read some interesting Superboy issues when I was looking for the specific 2-page explanation of Superboy Legends, because I had to find the exact issue. It was haunting me. Tell me things. Share more specific appearances if you feel like it down below. I didn't even get to talk about the one where the Flash has his costume and opens it like, oh look at all these clothes in this pocket. Tell me who you think is the most practical superhero costume down below as well. And while you're down there, please do all the YouTube things. Like, share, comment, subscribe, and hit the bell notifications so you never miss a vid. Thanks so much for taking some day spent discussing comics with me. I always appreciate it, and I will see you again soon. Bye-bye.